Alright boys, what's happening? Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2021 My Team series here on the channel. Today is our first time racing around the Portuguese Grand Prix circuit, the Algarve International Circuit, also known as Portimao. My first time racing around here. I did a track guide video to this track when it first dropped. It got a lot of views, probably my most viewed video of all time. I don't know why I said probably, it is my most viewed video of all time. I think it's on like 14,000 views, something crazy like that. And since that video, I've actually never been on Portimao again since that video, so I can't wait to get into this race today, and boy do we have a good one. If you did miss the last episode, make sure you check that out. It was our first time racing around Imola, and not to spoil anything, you're going to get it spoiled for you now on the screen. We did DNF again in Imola. That's back-to-back DNFs in China and Imola. 2 engine failures in the first 3 races of the season, you know, and it was a very intense race around Imola. We only got to lap 9 before we had to retire, but those 9 laps I was pushing every single lap, and it was so like intense, so like high pressure. There was also a massive crash at the end of that Imola race, which is absolutely huge for the championship. So if you did miss that one, make sure you check that episode out, because it was a very good race until we did obviously have to retire. So hopefully today we can bounce back from that, you know, here in Portugal, in Portimao, and we don't retire again. You know, it's going to be a disaster if we have 3 back-to-back retirements. Hopefully we never have to retire again through this whole season, now that we've had 2 retirements, 2 components of the engine completely gone after 3 races, which means we will definitely have to take engine penalties towards the latter half of the season. Is it latter or later? I don't even know, bro, what the correct grammar is there. But yeah, getting into our qualifying session here in Portugal, we have a little moment on the exit to the hairpin there. Very fun circuit to drive, Portimao, I can't lie to you. Portimao and Imola becoming my favourite tracks to drive on this game, and not just because they're new and bring something new to the game and to the calendar, you know, but it's just really fun, bro. Like, especially this corner right here, like it's so fast. Same with Imola, they feel so fast, and just like it just flows together very well, you know what I mean? The circuits, some circuits just don't feel like they flow very well. If anyone remembers Vietnam from last year, the Hanoi circuits, like I hated that track. It just didn't feel like there was any like flow to it, you know what I mean? But these tracks here, it's constant fast corners, sweeping corners, as you can see here, and as we cross the line here in Q1, we're going to be 2.5 tenths quicker than our previous lap, and it puts us up into P10, just above the 2 Alpines of Alonso and Ocon, and we're going to stay P10 at the end of the session. And Michael Schumacher, our teammate, boys, up in P2 at the end of Q1, showing that he's got a lot of pace around Portimao, and then you can see the rest of the grid there. So let's get into Q2. We've made it to Q2 again. Bottas and Ricciardo looking to qualify on the medium tyres in the top left there, as you can see. We go deep on turn 1 and actually exceed track limits, but who cares, you know? Like, it's not esports, we don't care about that, bro. It's an entertaining My Team series on the channel. Yeah, we don't care about track limits too much, especially when it's not too blatant like that wasn't. Downhill now into the hairpin. Hopefully we don't have a moment on the exit like we did in Q1, and we don't. Nice exit out of the hairpin, even though we're losing time on a delta to our previous lap. Come around here in 6th gear, uphill now. This is a very difficult corner not to lose the car on. If you get on the throttle too early there, then you will just lose it. That's so easy to lose the car there. Staying in 6th gear, down into 3rd for this right-hander. And we do go wide there, boys, but there was no warning about track limits. And you'll see in the race that we do use that to our advantage. Obviously they don't track limits at every single corner, so we do use that to our advantage. Once we get to the race, we get a nice exit out onto this the final 2 corners here, and then as we come round towards the DRS zone, we're going to be 7 tenths up on our previous lap in the Q2 session, and that's going to put us P3, boys, just behind Michael Schumacher and Max Verstappen, and just ahead of Sergio Perez. All 3 of those names I've just said, trying to qualify on medium tyres. We managed to get through in P9, Schumacher on the medium tyres in P4, Verstappen and Perez through on the medium tyres. Completely irrelevant, by the way, and you'll see why once we get to the race. Like, I don't know why they decided to do that. They had the same weather forecast as I did, so I don't know why they would ever decide to try and qualify in Q2 on medium tyres. But anyway, we're in Q3 once again. let's get into the session. We go wide through turn 1 again, but we don't get a track limit warning that this time. So the track limits are so inconsistent on this game. That was arguably worse than the Q2 session. But anyway, yeah, we're in Q3. Let's hope we can set a good lap. Bottas going fastest there with a 1:14.7. This is our first lap of the Q3 session, and it's actually going to be our fastest. If you could have seen this Q3 session, boys, it was absolutely terrible. It's very hard to go for 2 push laps back to back around Portimao, because your tyres are so hot at the end of that first lap. To go for 2 push laps back to back is not an easy task. So, like I say, it was very difficult in this Q3 session to get a good lap in, and it's going to be our first lap that is actually our fastest, as you can see. And that's why we are watching it, you know. So coming through the second to last corner, and then now through the final corner, we're currently sat P7 without a time on the board. Carlos Sainz, the time to beat in P5, 1:15.4. We cross the line. It's going to be a 1:15.1. That puts us P5 ahead of Sainz. Well, now down to P6 after Hamilton goes above us. We're going to be P6 currently, and at the end of the Q3 session, everybody does improve, apart from Lewis Hamilton in P9, and we are going to be P10, but Michael Schumacher, boys, on the front row for the team, 0.04 of a second behind Max Verstappen. Michael Schumacher in P2. Let's get to the race in the wet conditions here in Portimao.
To the southern coast of Portugal this week, and it's preparing for what I expect to be a terrific race here in Portimao. A lap of Portimao is 2.9 miles long, and it's made up of 15 turns, 9 right-handers and 6 left-handers. It's been described as a roller coaster with a lot of elevation changes. There's more than one blind summit, and the conditions today aren't going to make visibility any better. So drivers are going to have to be on the ball if we're to avoid a safety car here today. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today. Although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Michael Schumacher completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas and Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, the owner driver and Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Sergio Perez, they've taken a grid penalty, and Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Vettel, Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Tigtum and Nikita Mazepin. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Let's go, boys, into the race. It's going to be a no-stop strategy. I don't think I've ever said that in the 3 seasons that we've done this career mode. 0-stop strategy, 33 laps on intermediate tyres. And we just take note of the 16-lap pit window there on the alternate strategy, just in case the tyres do fall off. We're going to bump up our front wing there in the setup by 2 clicks, as you've just seen. We qualified in quali, obviously, with a setup of 4.11 on wings. We make it 6.11 because it is raining and it is lights out, and away we go here in Portimao, and we get a lot of wheel spin off the line there, trying to get a good start. Esteban Ocon, what a start from him, up the middle of me and Lewis Hamilton. We have to go around the outside, take evasive action off the track there, completely miss at the back of Esteban Ocon. That could have been a disaster on turn 1, lap 1 of the race. We didn't want to see that. Now we're battling with Carlos Sainz. We've actually made up a lot of places. We've overtaken both Ferraris, Leclerc and Sainz, and we've also made up a place on Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon. Now we are wheel to wheel with Carlos Sainz, heading downhill into the hairpin. Who's going to brake later? We try and do it, go around the outside of Carlos Sainz. Who's going to have the better traction, better exit out of the hairpin? It's going to be us. We're up into P6 from P10 on the grid already here in Portimao on lap 1. You love to see it. What a start from us that was. Now, I did actually say that we had some contact with Esteban Ocon, but I did check the front wing and there was no damage to the front wing, which is, you know, brilliant. Like, it could have been a disaster on lap 1 of the race here. But now we are chasing down Valtteri Bottas and we go around the outside, almost make contact with Bottas there. And we pretty much had no control over that. We were just steering the car through the wet conditions. Here's a replay of the start of Michael Schumacher. Let's see how Schumacher got on off the start. What a start from Michael Schumacher to go to Formula 1, and he goes straight into P1 there, overtaking Max Verstappen. He is up into the lead of the race, and he seems to be running away with the lead as well. The gap already 4 tenths now to Max. Just through the first few corners, we can see on board, as soon as the lights go out, he just has a great start. Look at that compared to Max. You can't even see Max on the screen anymore. What a start that is from Michael Schumacher. He's up into P1. Let's see if he can hold on to that by the end of the race. Getting back to us now, you can see we just almost made contact with Bottas there. It seemed Bottas was very slow through that particular corner on the lap. We had a little moment as well, as you've just seen, a little bit of a slide. You know, we're trying to wait for this dry line to get like ingrained into the circuit. You know, it seems very wet everywhere you look. If you look at the track now, it's you can't really see the dry line, I suppose, you know. Michael Schumacher setting the fastest lap of the race though, and he does seem to be a fair bit ahead of Max Verstappen. If you look on the little map in the bottom left, he seems to be running away with it, boys. But then we've got Bottas in front of us, who we're sticking with very nice indeed, yeah. And then we've got the 2 McLarens in front of Bottas, who seem to be a little bit like of a distance between them, but then the gap to Verstappen in front of that is an even bigger gap. And here we go to that same corner again. We're looking to make a move around the outside of Bottas there, and we don't manage to make it. But as you see, we go wide and we don't get a track limit warning. So we're going to try and use that to our advantage every time we get to that corner. We know we're faster than Valtteri through that corner. So every time we get to that corner, boys, I'm going to try that same move around the outside. It doesn't set us up very nicely for this exit though onto the home straight. Obviously, we don't have to worry about DRS, which is absolutely massive in this race right now. We don't have to worry about DRS because it's obviously wet. Intermediate conditions, they don't allow DRS to be activated because it'd be too dangerous. So we don't have to worry about any DRS trains between the McLarens pulling too far away from us. We don't have to worry about, if we do overtake Valtteri, we don't have to worry about him just getting DRS and overtaking us back. But as you can see, we are faster than Valtteri. We're getting right up close to his gearbox now at every turn. And we need to make a pass soon, boys. Like I'm saying, these McLarens ahead, they seem to be pulling a bit of a gap. We go around the outside of Valtteri yet again. Can we make the move stick this time? We're going on the outside of the track. It's not going to stick, but we are so close to Valtteri Bottas. Can we make this move stick? Come on, you see there, look how we've got a bit of contact with Valtteri there, and we go around the outside. Valtteri, a little wobble on the exit. We're going to send it up the inside now, and there is the pass on Valtteri Bottas. We did need to make that, like I said, because those McLarens are going to start pulling ahead. You can see now Daniel Ricciardo, the car in front. Ricciardo, I don't know, I said it like that. 2.6 seconds ahead is Ricciardo. And down the home straight now, Bottas looking to get a slipstream. Luckily, no DRS, like I said, otherwise that would have been an easy overtake for Bottas. And we're going to take an inside line into turn 1. Not ideal to go inside into turn 1. You want to be on the outside for that. But we managed to defend very nicely to Valtteri there. And now we can focus our efforts on chasing down Daniel Ricciardo. Like I've said, we've already closed the gap by 3 tenths from the last time I mentioned the gap to Ricciardo, and you can see he's 2 seconds ahead, with Norris 1.5 ahead of Daniel. So what a start to this race from P10 up into P5, and now we are chasing down P4, and it looks like we are going to be faster than Daniel Ricciardo, the guy in P4. Not surprising if you did notice the vehicle comparison chart at the start of the video. We do have the best car on the grid in theory on paper, but you know, last season it said that we had like the 3rd best car and I was coming P16 every race, you know, so I don't know, you shouldn't take the vehicle comparison chart as gospel, but it is definitely something to go off, a little guideline to go off. You can see just how wet it is from these camera shots here. You can hardly even see the cars because there's so much rain on the camera, but the track conditions didn't actually feel too bad. You know, the rain seemed steady. It didn't seem like it was getting worse. You can't even see anything from this camera angle here. It didn't feel like it was getting worse. Like I say, you know, we can use some of the standard water to cool the tyres down. if the tyres ever overheat at some point. But yeah, it didn't feel like the conditions were getting worse. They definitely weren't getting better though. So I don't think there's cause to move on to slicks, definitely not. But there's also not cause to move on to full wet. So it is looking at the moment like a zero stop strategy. And here on lap 9, we go purple in sector 1. Hopefully this could be a better lap 9 than the lap 9 we had in Imola, which was of course the retirement, which caused the 2 Mercedes to retire as well, which was absolutely massive for the championship. It's Red Bull, the main competitors, I'd say, for the championship this year, but you can never rule out Mercedes, Bottas and Hamilton. You can never rule those two out, even though so far this season they've been quite stinky, but you never know what upgrades they're going to get through the season. Coming through this corner again now, we get very close to the back of Ricciardo. As you can see, the AI just seems to be very slow through that corner. I don't know what it is about that corner, but the AI seem to be so slow through there, and that's where we're making up a lot of time to the cars in front, and that's where we overtake Bottas just on the exit of that corner. Now we're going around the outside here. We come off the dry line there. I was actually very scared that when I got on the throttle we was going to spin, because we come completely away from the dry line that is getting built here on the track. But now down the home straight, we're in the slipstream of Daniel Ricciardo, and we're going to go faster than our previous best lap on lap 9 there. Very nice lap from us. I thought we might have got fastest, with going purple in sector 1, but down into the hairpin now, we get very close to Ricciardo. We late brake there, very deep into the corner. And as you can see, the gap to Bottas behind is now 1.7 seconds. We've absolutely pulled away from Valtteri, showing the pace that we do have in this car. 1.8 seconds now. The gap to Ricciardo, 3/10 downhill now. Can we take Ricciardo? 3/10 is the gap to Daniel. Can we make a move? Where are we going to make the overtake? Where are we going to try it? We're just right on his gearbox, as you can see, coming around this next corner now again, downhill a bit, and we're so close to him. You can see it's almost contact again round the outside. Can we make a move around the outside? You can't even see a thing because the camera's so wet. Somebody get a cloth and wipe that camera, get a towel, and wheel to wheel with Daniel through the last corner now. We're heading down the home straight. Who's going to have the faster car in a straight line? Daniel gets the better exit, but we're going to use a lot of battery on the straight here, as you can see, and we are going to have the faster car in a straight line with that battery activated down into turn 1. It's a nice overtake from us. We are up into P4. That is a 6th place gain from where we were on the grid. Can we make it stick? Of course we can. We are now 5/10 ahead of Ricciardo just through turn 1, 2 and 3. So what a move from us to make that pass on Ricciardo, and now the gap is 8/10, and I don't even know how it's 8/10, bro. We've had 3 corners and a straight, so I don't know how Daniel's lost so much time. We have a little moment on the exit of the hairpin there, but it shouldn't be too bad. Now the gap to Ricciardo is 1.5.
Norris just ahead, push for the position. Gap to car in front is 4.2 seconds. They're on fresh inters. Their tyres are 11 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:25.5. You're closing by 4/10 per lap.
So boys, I asked Jeff there for some information on Norris. It said his last lap was a 1:25.5, and as you know, our previous lap was a 1:25.1, and we go purple in sector 1 yet again. The gap to Norris is it was 4 seconds actually at the time of me asking Jeff, and he said we were lapping faster by 4/10 a lap, so it would have been 10 laps before we did make an overtake. Yeah, I don't know, is that the right maths? 4/10 into 4 seconds, is that 10? I don't know, bro. But anyway, we are on course if we keep lapping how we are, and Norris keeps lapping how he is. We're on course for a podium in this race, boys. We are on course to overtake Lando Norris, and as you can see already, never mind 4/10, the gap at the start of the lap was 4 seconds, and now it's down to 3.4, which is 6/10 of course. So green in sector 2 again. We're putting in the lap times here, slow through that corner there. Michael Schumacher sets a fastest lap, 1:24.8 for Michael. You can see how far ahead he is from Max. If you look at the map in the bottom left, he's absolutely racing ahead of Max. We crossed the line there with a 1:24.9, so we were just 1/10 slower than Michael to get the fastest lap point there. But either way, it's going to be in our hands with Michael having the points. It's going to be in the team's hands. Now lap 16 of 33, the gap to Norris is 2 seconds. We are closing a lot faster than anticipated from that little message that Jeff gave us saying it was 4/10 a lap. We seem to be going faster. Obviously, we've just gone very fast with a 1:24.9. That's a very fast lap indeed. I think we did back-to-back 1:24.9s And then on lap 16 here, we're going red in sector 1. Is this tyres falling off? I'll tell you now, the tyre wear was absolutely fine. But is this to do with temperature? Is it to do with wear? We just can't go as fast as before, or is it just a bad lap from us? I don't know. But the gap to Norris, regardless of it being a bad lap, has been closed by a whole second, and now we are within 1.1 seconds. We go purple in sector 2, even though we go red through sector 1, so it's got nothing to do with the tyres. It must have just been a bad sector 1 from us. The gap to Norris, 1 second. We can't rely on DRS down this home straight. We have 100% battery though. We need to start using some of that. It actually damages the car if you keep too much battery stored and don't use it. So we should be using a lot of battery down this straight now. There we go. I don't know why I put it on so late. But we get the fastest lap of the race, boys. 124.3. That is 5 tenths faster than the lap Michael did. But the gap to Norris is 1 second now. And there's going to be a yellow flag behind us on lap 17 of the race. Let's see who it is. It's going to be Daniel Ricciardo in that McLaren that we did just overtake a few laps ago, down the home straight now, and it looks like his car's just gone. You can't see any smoke, but you see how easy, I think that's Valtteri, gets past him, and he's going to take evasive action, bouncing over the curb there through turn 1. Very bizarre from Daniel. I don't know what was going on there, but it must be an engine failure. As you can see, Ricciardo out of the session. Just to confirm there, the little message from the FIA comes through. Now I'm thinking, boys, this could be a potential safety car, because if you see where he is on the map, you see what he's just done here. He's just pulled over to the side. He's on this patch of grass, just in the middle of the track, just in a patch of grass, bro. Now that should be a VSC or an actual safety car, a full safety car, but yeah, there was nothing, and he just disappeared after a lap. So yeah, that was... I mean, I don't know if I was hoping for a safety car or not, because we're about to close down Lando. But, yeah, it would have made the front two a lot closer. Maybe we could have even gone for the win if there was a safety car. Because right now, Verstappen is so far ahead, and Michael is so far ahead. To catch those guys would be an absolute miracle. But right now, all we need to focus on is Lando Norris, the guy in front of us by 3 tenths. We don't need to worry about Max or Michael because there is no safety car. So right now we just need to focus on our race, focus on the man that is in front of us in that papaya orange car, and that is Lando Norris as we head downhill into this left-hander. This corner where the AI seem very slow. Is Lando going to be slow? We go round the outside, go deep into the corner. We get a nice exit down the hill into this next corner. A nice camera angle from the helicopter shot here. We go very late on the brakes there, almost going into the back of Lando, into the hairpin. We managed to avoid any sort of collision there, but you can see just how fast we are compared to Lando. We've had to slam on there again because Lando just seems to be so slow compared to the pace that we're going at. We need to clear this guy as quickly as possible. He's hating our race. You know, we seem to be lapping so much faster than him. Now, down this straight, we're going to use a lot of battery because we have a lot saved up. Like I say, we're in the slipstream. Down into turn 1. Can we make a move? It's from deep, from way downtown, wheel to wheel with Lando. Through turn 1, and what a move that is going to be. We are up into P3, boys. Can we make it stick through turn 2? Are we going to stay ahead of Lando Norris as we head up the hill to the left in 4th gear? And then let's head down the straight, and we are going to be 7 tenths ahead of Lando. What a pass that was. What an overtake. So late on the brakes, so early of a turn in from Lando there. Oh, no, it wasn't. But, I mean, if he turned in earlier, I meant to say, you know, we could have had a massive collision there, but we go so late on the brakes and send it up the inside from way downtown. That is our classic move, you know, from way downtown to send it like that.
Verstappen is ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 9.2 seconds. They're on old Inters. Their tyres are 20 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:25.9. You're gaining by 8 tenths. 8 tenths.
Now, boys, we asked Jeff for some information on the car ahead again. It's Max Verstappen. He's 9 seconds ahead. Jeff says that we're lapping faster than Max by 8 tenths a lap. But as we get to lap 22, you can see that isn't the case. And the reason why it was probably 8 tenths on that particular lap is because of this right here. Dan ticked him there, or is it Schumacher? Or no, it's Mazepin actually in the Haas that we managed to pass there. We've got to lap these cars. No, there's Mazepin. That was Dan ticked him. My bad. Now there's Mazepin getting out the way for us very nicely as we go up and down the hill. So that is probably why that lap in particular said that it was 8. We were lapping 8 tenths quicker because Max had to deal with back markers.
So all of our tyre pressure data is reading 0 at the moment. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
Boys, give me a break, innit? Give me a break. What do you mean? Our tyre sensors are showing that the levels of inflation says 0, or the tyre pressure levels is 0%. Like, give me a break. Why is the car made of tinfoil, bro? Why is the car made out of cardboard? Like, I don't even know what that means. Does that mean we're going to have a puncture? Does that mean we're going to have to retire 3 races in a row? Who knows? Let's get our head down and try and win this race. Well, not win it, but let's just try and cross the line in one piece, bro. Yeah, because right now I'm scared that we're going to have to retire 3 races in a row. We've got 9 laps left in the race. We're about to lap Nicholas Latifi in the Alfa Romeo there. The gap to Norris, 1.2 seconds behind. Verstappen now 11 seconds ahead. So yeah, we're not lapping 8 tenths quicker than Verstappen. He's gained 2 seconds on us since Jeff did tell us that. Well, he's actually gained 3 seconds since Jeff told us that, I think. But there's Latifi finally getting out the way. Look at this loser. Get out the way, lad. I can't believe how long it took Latifi to get out the way there. Speaking of losers, here's another one. Antonio Giovinazzi. You don't have a seat for next season. It's unfortunate, lad. But get out my way. Blue flags in a bit, lad. Look at this loser. You get lapped. Anyway, down the hill, we've lapped 4 cars this race, is it? It's been a while since I've lapped anyone, and normally I'm the one that's getting lapped, if anything. Especially thinking back to Monaco. Every time we go to Monaco, we get lapped. But anyway, boys, lap 33 of 33.
Wow, superb weekend. Thank you, guys. It's been fantastic for us this weekend. I mean, so great. Everything is just fantastic. Thank you, guys. Great job.
And Michael Schumacher comes home, boys, to take the checkered flag. It's the first win for the team in his colours. Michael Schumacher, and we're going to cross the line as well, boys, and take the checkered flag in P3.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you.
What a weekend for the team, boys. We get driver of the day as well, which is going to please our sponsors. P1 and P3 and fastest lap of the race goes to us. What a weekend for the team. Bouncing back after 2 DNFs from me. Absolutely huge to get these points on the board, you know. We're trying to fight for the championship this season. I don't care who wins, the drivers, if it's me or Michael. As long as the team wins the constructors, that's all I care about, bro. So to see Michael on that top step on the podium and to see me up there with him for the first time ever, you know, it's a lovely sight. And as you've heard Michael's radio message there, yeah, just shout out Michael Schumacher, innit? As he comes up to the podium there, he wants a fight. Look at this, he's fighting for the championship this year. This is going to be his first win for the team, and I'm sure it won't be his last. Max Verstappen picking up P2. Our championship rival is going to be Max Verstappen for sure. This guy is an absolute monster. Hopefully in real life, Max Verstappen as well is going to be an absolute monster in these last 2 races and win the championship. As you're watching this video, it should be Friday, and it should be the start of the Saudi GP weekend. If you aren't familiar with the Saudi GP, make sure you check out my channel. I have a video going through the Saudi GP, doing a little track guide of this new Jeddah circuit, because obviously we've never raced there before, we've never even seen a lap around there before. So make sure you check out my video, and then you can see that track guide and see what is in that, you know what I mean. In the driver standings, Michael Schumacher is currently P2, 25 points behind Max Verstappen. We're currently P10, 60 points behind Max Verstappen. The team moves up into P4 as well in the constructors, 53 points behind Red Bull. It's going to be a long season. Well, it's not really, because we've only got 16 races. It's going to be a tough season though, boys. It's going to come down to the wire, this one. I can feel it. If you are enjoying the series, like, comment, share and subscribe. I haven't shown this screen in a while. We do have a rivalry going with Daniel Ricciardo. He's leading by 1 point. The team is level 20. Michael's level 20, we're level 15. Like I say, I haven't showed the screen in quite a while. I don't know why. We pick up some nice money from the sponsors. Top 4 finish, answering questions and driver of the day. That gives us 1.1 million. And then getting through. Now we do have a powertrain upgrade to come through on the 4th of May. And that is going to be Spec 3 for the powertrain. I forgot to stop advancing there, but you can see now our powertrain is Spec 3, which means we can finally get that engine power upgrade in the powertrain department. It's not even that big of an upgrade. You can see here the exhaust upgrade. It's quite significant. We have the 4th worst engine on the grid, boys. Look at that in the bottom right. We have a worse engine than AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, Williams. Just better than Haas, Alfa Romeo and Alpine. We pick up that engine upgrade there though. We're going to get this fuel efficiency, or no, ERS upgrade as well. That'll help with the energy output, and then getting through now. We just advance. We've got a season break here on the 17th of May, Azerbaijan on the 3rd of June. Azerbaijan, the next GP. I was actually wondering what the next Grand Prix was. That I've got to go ahead and record now, but we're going to start the season break. We get a powertrain department thing, and they want us to take -20 morale. We're not going to do that because we have 2 upgrades on the go. The last thing we want to do is fail those upgrades, which should come through before Azerbaijan, as we wait and see. And they have done. The exhausts and the rotor upgrade have came through. Let's check out this engine now. We are maxed out on engine power. You love to see it. ERS is maxed out as well. Fuel efficiency is the last upgrade we can buy, and if we rush this, we get it before Baku. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. That has moved our engine up to the midfield part of the pack. Once this upgrade comes through, we should have a better engine than Mercedes and tied with Ferrari. We do have 2 supply upgrades as well to come through in November. I don't even know if we'll get them this season or if the season finishes before November. But the day before the Baku GP, we get the final upgrade on our engine now, boys. So as we go to the R&D section, the aerodynamics is maxed out. The chassis is maxed out. The engine is maxed out as much as we can. We just have to wait for 2 supplier upgrades. And then the durability we haven't touched yet because we need to upgrade the facility, which we probably won't even do. I can't lie to you. Next up is Baku, Azerbaijan. Cannot wait to get into this race, boys. Can we get another win, another podium? Last year we obviously won here ourselves. We won 3 in a row now. We have Baku, Canada and France. We won all 3 of them in a row. Can we do the same? And can Michael get on the podium with us this season? Who knows? You'll have to find out on Monday's episode. Like, comment, share and subscribe. You know the vibes, and I will catch you next time. Take it easy.